Ms. Spruill, you are furious that you had to file a paternity case against the defendant, Mr. Dixon, due to his denial of your daughter, Skya. You say you know the exact night you conceived, and he is her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Dixon, you claim that your relationship with Ms. Spruill was purely sexual, and one conversation that occurred is the only proof you need that her child is not yours. Is that correct?
Your Honor.
So, Ms. Spruill, why is he denying paternity?
He flip-flops. One day this is his daughter, the next day it isn't, and I'm tired, I'm irritated. It's to the point that it shouldn't be called for. If this is gonna be your baby 24/7. Don't go back and forth.
So he's going back and forth?
Yes, Your Honor.
1 minute she is, 1 minute she isn't. Is that true, Mr. Dixon?
No, it's not, Your Honor. I don't claim this child is mine because I have serious doubts about this child. It's been multiple
You just came
occasions
and saw her
to
last
say,
week.
like I said, multiple
just came
occasions
and seen
to
her
say
last
that
week,
this
though.
girl
Did
is
you go
mine.
see the
You
baby
just
last
came and
week?
saw her last week. Played with her, spent the night with her and all.
Well, you know, I wanted to go check on her because...
Why would you check on a child that's not yours?
Well, Your Honor, look here. Let me explain this, Your Honor. First, I want to start about my doubts about this child. Would you like me to step into the board and explain this diagram to you?
You brought an exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
Let me see.
Go ahead.
Let me brought this down. Well, as you can see, I have a family that works at a store. On this particular day, my family member wanted to present Skya around. So one day she went to work and was like, hey, we're so excited about our newest family member, Skya. So she goes around showing pictures and, you know, excited about it, showing to our coworkers, her bosses and everything, except for one particular coworker comes out of the blue and was like, whoa, wait a minute, pause. No, that's not his baby, that's my brother's baby. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Why would this girl come out of the blue and claim that this is her brother's baby just like this? So I have my doubts that this is my child.
The coworker says, that's my brother's baby.
And comes out knowing and said, this is my brother's child.
Lie.
And then too, Your Honor, I want to say this too. I have doubts that this is my child. Why? Because Kamaya is constantly lies.
Oh, wow.
She even lies about this baby. It was a time when she was pregnant. She said, I slipped and fell in the tub.
Your
You texted me,
sister took me to the hospital.
you texted me saying you in the ER the whole entire time, but once I'm on the phone,
His
you in the
sister
living
took
room,
me to the hospital.
giggling, laughing, playing
His
with your
sister.
son.
And as far as the coworker telling his family member, that same coworker got on the phone with me and his family member and let it be known his family member was mistaken. He wasn't even around. The other male let it be known he's lying. So when I sent Mr. Dixon the screenshots of these young men letting me know we never had any relations at all, the problem just diminished.
Kamaya has 2 phones. She had one phone that she used to be on the internet and she posts her whole entire life on Facebook. She has another
enough.
phone where she texts and calls. She
No, I have
plays
another
like
phone where I
she 2
text
people
him.
on Facebook.
He has that
she
number.
done did
He's
this
not allowed
multiple
to
times.
have my main number. We have no communication because, like I said,
He's not allowed to have your main number, and he's the father of your child?
We're gonna go to why he can't have my main number. Mr. Dixon ran off to Alabama when his daughter was 1 month old, to say he was working. He wasn't working. He was not working.
I
you
moved
wanna
to
know how?
Alabama to get a better job.
Oh, no.
To make more money.
Our
but
daughter,
it's constantly lies that's coming from her.
One at a time.
Our daughter, it wasn't even 7 months. Mr. Dixon had a whole nother child while he was still with me. He was still with me.
So what was he doing in Alabama?
Making babies. Yeah, he was doing in some work. He put in a lot of work.
So, Thanksgiving, they found out you were pregnant.
Yes, and after that, I became the devil. This wasn't his baby, this, that, and the third.
You so sure this is my child, but yet I'm not on the birth certificate.
You weren't there when she was born. What you mean?
But yet
you
we kept
wasn't
talking
there.
about me putting myself on a birth certificate, and I even came up with money to change her last name, but you kept pushing it off. But you so sure this is my child. Why is you instead of pushing it off?
Because you don't do
And I'm
anything
coming up
for
with
her.
money
That is a
to
privilege.
change her name to my name.
So when he came up with the money to change her last name, why not do it?
Because when she was born, first of all, he wasn't there when she was born. He came 2 days later since he want to play them games. If I'm going to keep doing everything for this child, that's my name.
That's
You
a
didn't
lie.
earn that right.
That's a lie.
You didn't earn that right.
Miss Spruill, but now that's not the issue. If you're saying this is the father of my child, without a doubt, and he's saying, I want to put my name on the birth certificate and have her name changed to my last name, Wouldn't that be
So
what
you're
you
telling
want?
me-
I mean, you were screaming at the top of your lungs in this courtroom to get him to acknowledge this child. You are offended because you say he acknowledges her one day and not the next. A name change is a significant acknowledgement, as well as being willing to execute the birth certificate. Why not be cooperative instead of combative?
Because the day we were supposed to go get it changed, Mr. Dixon ran right back off to Alabama.
You got into a relationship with
Yes,
someone
I
else.
did. We got into a relationship, and he was actually helping me with both of my children, not just one. So I feel like
And what is the issue with that?
he was mad because me and him were, I made a video of him and Skya. They were in the bed. They were laughing and playing.
Okay.
I don't know what to believe, Your Honor, because all she do is lie. I don't know what to believe. 1 minute, you saying this baby's sick, this and that, the third, but she's not. Then when she really is sick, then that's when you get pissed at me because
I know the night
I
that
don't
she
know
was
if it
conceived,
is
Your
true or
Honor.
not.
I know the exact night she was conceived because somebody wanted to make up for their little mishaps. And it was also Sweetest Day weekend. I had to
Sweetest Day.
explain.
That's
He
something
had
I
to
never heard of.
Google it,
She brought
but
that
he
up.
didn't even know it's an actual holiday.
I
It's
thought
like
that's just a
Valentine's Day.
Chicago thing.
Okay,
Just
tell me what.
Sweetest
No, I'm from Detroit. We do Sweetest
Oh.
Day too. I know
Well, I'm
what
from
Sweetest
the
Day is.
South. We don't do that.
Listen, no, we understand. Look, I've been all over this country.
Yes,
I
I
know
know.
only certain parts of the country. The
Okay.
Northwest, we do Sweetest Day. I get that. So the bottom line is you're saying she was conceived Sweetest Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But how do you know for sure we got drunk that day? I mean, she bought liquor.
'Cause that
bought
was the
everything.
first time-
'Cause
Well,
Well,
brought
you
this
can
to my
make
attention.
babies when you're drunk. In the case of Spruill versus Dixon, when it comes to 13-month-old Skya Spruill, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Dixon, you are the father.
Thank you.
You are her father.
Thank you.
You feel relieved, Miss Spruill?
I do.
How do you feel, Mr. Dixon?
I'm excited. I have a beautiful baby girl. I'm gonna be the best father I can, and I'm just glad the truth is out.
That's what I wanted to hear. At this point, what we have to do is figure out how to move forward. Mr. Kennedy, you claim to be a nice guy who was forced to make the tough decision to drag the defendant to court to prove you did not father her 3-month-old son, Christian. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Pope, you and your mother are insulted that Mr. Kennedy denies paternity and refuse to acknowledge your child. You say he laid down with you and now he has to step up and pay. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Kennedy, why do you believe that Ms. Pope claims you're the father of her 3-month-old baby?
I believe she's just looking for someone to pin it on or pick up the slack from her previous, encounter.
And so, take me back to the nature of your relationship.
It started off as just friends. We met through a mutual friend. It got physical once we got to know each other, and it
So, did you all enter into a committed relationship? Were you boyfriend and girlfriend?
No.
brief. I would
No?
say briefly.
No, we never did. It never had a chance to take off. We did get along in the beginning, but he was a jerk, and I no longer wanted to be around that.
So, wait a minute. Why were you sleeping with him if he was a jerk?
He came off as an all-American guy in the beginning. We had a lot of things in common. We had the same birthday, the same football team.
That's enough to sleep with somebody, Jerome. Birthday and a football team.
Okay.
So, the bottom line is you all got along in the beginning and you started a sexual relationship with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
At what point did you realize this all-American guy wasn't what he seemed to be?
When he started to say that I had feelings over my ex, and that wasn't the case. If I was
That's
not over
not
my
even-
ex, I wouldn't be trying to involve myself with anybody else.
So wait a minute, Mr. Kennedy. You saying that's not true?
Yes, Your Honor.
What is your version?
My version is we were friends from the beginning, but then it became, friends with benefits, kind of a ordeal.
All right, so then you were just basically, you call it friends with benefits.
Yes,
But
Your
you
Honor.
were having a sexual relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you were not using protection?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So, Ms. Pope, at some point you say the tables start to turn in your mind
Yes, Your Honor.
because he accuses you of having feelings for your ex?
That's not even remotely true. The reason why my feelings had changed was because she didn't have a GED. She didn't have a future plan going for her. At the time, I was going to school for my associates in criminal justice. I was working and raising my first son, and it wasn't until my friend told me, you know, she doesn't have anything going for her at the moment, so you need to drop it like a bad habit.
Wait a minute. No, a bad habit is sleeping with someone you barely know without using protection. That's a bad habit. Now, I don't know if this young woman can be labeled a bad habit.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so now you did make the decision to kind of pull back from this relationship. And so when she says he starts being a jerk and not returning my calls, the truth is you were doing that.
Yeah, I admit it, yeah.
All right, Ms. Pope, at least that part of your testimony has been substantiated. So I want to understand the moment when you find out you're pregnant. What happens?
I found out that I was pregnant at 6 weeks. I had a cutie one morning and threw it up at work. I put the 2 and 2 together. It wasn't rocket science, and I knew that I was pregnant. And after that point, he really didn't have much to say over the fact that I was.
And Mr. Kennedy, do you remember when she told you she was pregnant?
She told me around May or June or July. At that point, she had said there were 2 other gentlemen involved, and I had asked her, could it potentially be mine? And she said, no, you're in the clear. So at that point, I
never said he was in the clear.
I took a 6-hour trip out of my day to go up and actually see the child with my own eyes, just to make sure she was being truthful. I didn't get anything until after the child was born.
So when you took the time and went up to see Christian, what happened?
I just held him for a while, trying to gather, any kind of, quirks that might relate him to myself or my other, kids or anything like that. Trying to find any similarities between him and I, and that was basically it. I just went up mainly just to see the baby from my own eyes, just to make sure that this wasn't a ruse of some sort.
He did come. He came to see us. My mom came in and she said, "Oh, you look just like Christian." I don't know why he's trying to deny it now. It's not about the 2 other gentlemen. It's about the fact that he needs to step up to the plate. I have paternity papers and everything ready for him to sign.
But I have the result, and that's going to determine whether or not he should execute those papers.
Yeah, he never came to my door and said, "I'm ready to figure this out. Let's go do this. Let's get this done."
You didn't inform me about any of this until after he was already born.
Ms. Pope, what I think I feel like you're missing is that you did admit that there were 2 other possibilities. And
yeah, I admitted it.
What he's saying is he took the approach, if you didn't reach out to him and you didn't include him, you must not have really thought he was the father. I understand your mom's approach, where her thought process is if you think you potentially could be a child's father, you need to follow up and make sure you are not this child's biological father.
He's too concerned about who are other options when to begin with. He never told me who was on the other side of his gate. I also found out that there was another woman in his life that also had a child 3 months prior to me. If he would have told me that he was with somebody else and that she was also pregnant, I would have never even bothered with him.
And that's not great to hear. I understand.
He wasn't truthful about that. I was truthful about the other 2 men that I was with.
Yeah, after she had asked you and pried it out of you.
Listen, I mean, it sounds like both of you admitted that it was just a relationship where you were friends with benefits. So you didn't have a commitment.
No, Your Honor.
And that's why I say all of the time, young people, you all having sex and playing it like it's Monopoly, and it's not better with more people. It's not. In the case of Kennedy versus Pope, when it comes to 3-month-old Christian Pope, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Kennedy, you are the father. You are the father.
All right.
How do you feel?
Like I got a lot of work to do.
Ms. Pope?
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. This is why we're here. Not just for you, but for Christian.
Yes.
Because now he gets to know his dad and grow up with his dad.
Yes.
Would it be okay if Christian saw his father
Yes, that's what I
in
want
my
for him.
chambers?
Yes, that's what I want for him.
Excellent. We've got to accept that these results, we've now planted a seed for a new day. Ms. Tillis, you claim the defendant got you pregnant and now refuses to do anything for your 2-month-old son, Jayden, leaving you in financial distress. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim today's DNA test will prove that he is Jayden's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jalik, you say you are 100% certain you are not her child's biological father and have medical evidence to support your claim. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Tillis, you say the defendant's paternity denial has left you in financial trouble?
Yes, Your Honor.
Explain.
The day my son was born, he has done nothing for my child.
Nothing?
Nothing at all.
Not a dollar?
Not a dollar.
Tell the court what that has been like for you.
I'm struggling. I have to do it all by myself. I'm not working right now.
So precious. Ms. Tillis, I know this has been difficult. I can only imagine. I'm a mother. 2 months in, you are still dealing with postpartum issues. You're still dealing with trying to put yourself back together, your mind back together, your body back together. And you're doing this all by yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me, how has this affected you?
It hurts. Before I was pregnant with Jayden, I was having issues that I told Mr. Jalik about, and I was hoping that he would be there for me, but he turned his back on me.
Mr. Jalik, did you turn your back on the baby?
No, Your Honor. Basically, we had a conversation, and like I told her, I refused to take up the next man's slack for a child that's not mine. We wasn't even having relations when she got pregnant.
So, what was the nature of your relationship?
We were having sex because we got history.
What's the history?
When I moved to Oklahoma City from my home state, I was going to college for my associates in business where I met Miss Tillis.
So you
And-
met in college?
Yes.
Okay.
And at that time, I had long hair, so she was at school for nursing at the time, but she's a cosmetologist also. So she started braiding my hair, and she started lightweight spending nights with me at my home. I had a 3-bedroom house. She used to come over.
I moved in with him.
She used to come over.
Wait a minute, she said she moved in. Did she move in, or were you just braiding and bedding?
That's what it was. That's
Both. It was both, but over time, I moved in with him.
So this started a committed relationship? You met?
I thought it was a committed
Did you
relationship.
date, or you just braided his hair, then decided I'm moving in?
Thank you. Braiding with benefits.
Oh, okay. Miss
why I feel
Tillis, were you sending naked pictures to your ex while you were living in his house and saying he was your boyfriend?
I was. But only because he had females coming over to the house.
Do you believe she was also having sex with someone else during the window of time that Jayden was conceived?
It's very possible, Your Honor, because I said we've been doing this off and on since 2011. This is the time to let me know what else you got going on. Well, she sat there for a second and she was like, well, I did, I'm gonna be real. I did mess with my ex, a couple of months ago when me and you got into it after I got my car.
So she confirmed and she admitted in that moment, I did sleep with my ex.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I want to understand what was transpiring during the window of time when Jayden was conceived. Were you all intimate during that time?
Yes, this is
No.
the time where we were working together. We
No.
were on and off.
So you and your ex rekindled your relationship or friendship, whatever it was,
It was a friendship. We weren't.
but you started having sex with him as well.
Yes, but it was just one time. Me and Mr. Jalik messed around in October.
More like early September.
No,
This
it was
around the time she got
it
a
was
car.
in
She
the
got
middle. It was in the middle of October.
Work with
the
home
end of
health.
October, I messed with the other man.
Wait, say that again.
The middle of October, I messed with him without protection.
Do you agree
The
with that,
end
Mr.
of
Jalik?
October,
No.
it was the other man.
No, ma'am. I'm gonna tell
So you did mess with the other guy at the end of October?
Yes.
So why, when I asked you, did you think he was a possibility, you said no?
Because we used protection. It wasn't. I messed with him in October too. The beginning of February.
And the
I
first
found out
conception date they gave you was October 25th.
Yeah, but she wasn't accurate because she didn't know. I asked her, do she know when I conceived? And she just threw me out a date.
So when the date was October 25th, Mr. Jalik, you thinking that's the ex?
I went to my OBGYN and he gave me the conception date of November the 14th. That's the last time me and Mr. Jalik messed around.
We wasn't even having sex then. Let me show you something, Your Honor.
Okay, you can step back to your podium, Ms. Tillis. What do you have for me, Mr. Jalik?
My father, myself, and my 3 sons all have what the old folk call a wisdom hole in our right ear at the top. We're born with it. It's a handsome child that she has, but he doesn't have the trait that me, my father, nor my sons have.
It's a pre-auricular sinus.
Yes, ma'am.
Pre-auricular sinuses are inherited. And also, one study says the incidence of pre-auricular sinuses in the United States is estimated to be 0 to 0.9%. Wow, that's less than 1%. That's very rare.
Yes, ma'am.
So 3 generations of men in the family have this trait.
Yes, Your Honor.
But Jayden's does not.
Not at all.
So a pre-auricular sinus is a small hole or opening that's a birth defect. It happens in less than 1% of the population and traditionally is inherited. It's an autosomal dominant trait, which means you have 2 copies of a gene. If one is defective or mutated, it will display in most cases as the wisdom hole. But you have 2 copies of that gene. So one from your mom, one from your dad. It sounds like your dad's side of the family is the one that had the wisdom hole, but your mom's side did not, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So each child that you produce has a 50% chance of having that wisdom hole. So you've got a 50-50 shot with an autosomal dominant disease.
So what you're saying is the fact that his 3 children now, they currently have the wisdom hole.
Correct.
Does not necessarily mean that every child he would produce would have it. It's a 50-50 chance in each child.
In each case.
As it pertains to 2-month-old Jayden Tillis, it has been determined by this court. Mr. Jalik, you are the father. That's your little baby.
I know it was somebody's nose. Now that I look at it, I can kind of see the... I apologize.
How does that make you feel, Ms. Tillis?
I'm happy,
Are you?
but I'm emotional at the same time because I went through a lot when I was pregnant.
Yeah. We could tell.
I apologize. My bad. I apologize.
This is why we're here. This is why we do this. For you all, most importantly for Jayden's. So I have to ask you, is it okay if Mr. Jalik sees his beautiful son in my chamber?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's do that. I will meet you in my chambers. Court is adjourned.